All right, I've got 6:30. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Travis Kramer.
Here.
Scott McCorney.
Here.
Jeremy Hansen.
Here.
Jason Weesey. Paul Kraus.
Here. The Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall. Item 4, consent agenda. I don't remember seeing anything that I thought we needed to consider separate.
Kate, item N, Visa dump truck maintenance supplies, office supplies, library PC and postage. I think the office PC was 300 some alone, wasn't it? Is that really all $500?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Good news.
Item C, that means Odell's deal went through.
That is that's the purchase of the 2 flood properties. Yeah, we'd already approved the purchase, so we just need to approve the payment.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. That includes A and B, right? Yes. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 5, approval of minutes from the June 17th, 2024 regular board meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes from the June 17th, 2024 regular board meeting.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes from the June 17th, 2024 regular board meeting as presented. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. All right, we've got a lot of people sitting here for new business. I think we'll try and work through some of these first unless if you're waiting on somebody else to show up, let me know. Otherwise, we'll go to item A under new business, discussion and possible approval of curb painting fundraiser for Arlington Cheer.
Back here, is that the same?
You're fine, wherever you want.
So we just, this was brought up in our meeting, we were talking. I don't know if some of you are aware of what it costs for a girl to do cheer at the high school in a year. A new cheerleader is $1,200 for the year. Returning one, because she already had some of her uniforms, is $1,000. So in our cheer meeting, we had a lot of discussion about what we could do for fundraisers to help these girls pay for their camps, their uniforms, their travel to their events, all that kind of stuff. And this was one of the things that somebody brought up. I don't even know who it was, but I told them I'd take it on and bring it to you guys to see if curb painting could be a possibility. So I know we have curb paintings on some of the curbs in town, like I was looking at mine in front of my house, and you can see the numbers anymore. So what we were thinking is that we could possibly do it as a fundraiser. We would like to go with maroon with white lettering instead of the white with the black lettering if we did. And we actually talked about maybe putting an eagle symbol on it also. So we're just coming to you to see if this could be a possibility. We don't know the complete details, but we wanted to start to even see if this was something that we could possibly do. And then beyond that, it would be, like, we have to stay under a certain size. Do we, are there any rules or anything that we have to follow? We want to make sure that we're following the right rules.
I don't know that I've ever seen rules on painting the curbs. So I think as long as you're directly in front of the house, we wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
John, do you have any problem with the different colorings?
Okay, and we've done research on it, like obviously we use cement paint so that it would hold up for a little while at least, hopefully past the winter, but maybe then it could be another fundraiser next.
There you go.
So yeah, if you guys are okay with it, we'll probably be putting out flyers. We'll come up with the logistics. I'm not gonna do it all myself, but I figured I'd do the starting part of it and just get the idea out there.
Sounds good.
We're good with that.
Yeah, get a hold of the newspaper, let them know what you're doing. That'll help
Okay.
get the word out. So
Amazing, thank you.
thank you. Do we need any kind of a vote on that, do you think, or? Item B, discussion and possible approval of walk run fundraiser for St. Paul's Lutheran Church Home Program. Howdy.
So, hello. If you all remember, we did this last year, end of August, and we would like to do it again. Same route. I have maps if you are interested in seeing what our route would be.
Now, did we have to close any streets or did you just
No,
post people at the
We
intersections
just had
like that?
people, at all the intersections.
Yep. Just like we do for the summer sizzle?
Yeah, so we didn't close anything last year. And we're using the same route that we used last year. So just looking for approval from you guys to go ahead and do that on September 28th this year.
See any problem with that date?
I'll make a motion for the approval of a walk run fundraiser for the St. Paul Lutheran Church Home Program. With the designated route and date of September 28th.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of a walk around fundraiser for St. Paul's Lutheran Church Home Program. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott Zetorni,
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye,
Thank you.
you bet. Item C, discussion and possible approval of Eagle Scout disc golf project.
That thing is like okay, basically information kiosk on just the disc golf, like where all the holes are and stuff. And it's just gonna be like kiosk and have a map of where all the holes are on it. And it's gonna, I'm planning on putting it like right next to the start of the first hole, so people can see it really easily.
Don, do you have any input on that? And just check with you before they place it and make sure it's in a good spot. Yeah.
Help us out. Can you share your name and rank? Yeah.
I'm Zayden Lambert. It's like Eagle Scout project. And
When do you have to have it done?
before my 18th birthday.
So how much time do you have? Sometimes we run into real constraints with getting it done.
2.5 years.
Okay, so you're good there. We've had to really push it up to the wire, so. I think that's a good project. That looks good, what you've got here for a picture. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from the disc golf course, so anything to keep that rolling, I think is good.
I think the only recommendation I might have is, I know there was a flyer showing flyers in there. Knowing how the wind hits it and thinking about litter, maybe I'm not so hot on the flyer thing that if we could go without the flyers, only because somebody grabs a bunch and throws them around, you know how litter goes. That would be the only thing that I'd probably stay away from if it was up to me.
Zayden, do you think as part of the display, you could do some sort of like scan so they can scan to the course that's already online?
QR code.
Yeah, like a QR code for that.
I was,
And
do you guys have like a score sheet online? Cause I was going to try to figure out how to do that, because I know, the putt-putt golf courses have a QR code that they can scan and they can score on their phones.
Would that be something we could do through the front desk?
I don't think so, but Jake might know of something though, because he's uploaded the course to.
the course is online.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be a question for Jake. I don't know.
That would definitely be something we'd be
So if we
interested.
could pair that even somehow, that would be awesome. Yeah.
My other question is, have we talked about adding more holes down the road? You don't think we have room? Okay,
We haven't talked.
okay. That would be my only other concern is if we could add 9 more holes, maybe leave room for another
So,
flag or
because
something.
right now, we don't have plans for the back, we only have plans for the front.
Okay,
So if you added 9 more, we
we
could,
could do something like that, yeah. I think that's a great looking project.
Good idea.
I always want to go down there and try it myself. I haven't been down there yet, but I wouldn't know where to go, so that helped me out.
Well, I will make a recommendation to approve the Eagle Scout project for Zayden with the disc golf kiosk. As presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Eagle Scout project for Frisbee Golf Information Kiosk. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
All right, thank you. Well, let's go ahead and move on to item D, discussion and possible approval of lot split the parcel 8900345559 as recommended by the planning commission. Are you waiting on anybody else to show up or anything? We're kind of pushing everything up here.
Just
We got a lot of people sitting here. I figured we'd get everybody out. Seems pretty straightforward. Mike, did you have anything to add from the planning commission side or?
Just what you said, pretty straightforward, two agreeing parties, there's no covenants or anything to wrestle with. The only thing that the planning commission mentioned, just for the record, is that he will need to come back to combine those lots so that he can create the garage on that lot that he wants to. We recommended that in that process, he get it surveyed just to make sure every ducks in a row. We weren't sure whether that was required or not, but we certainly.
I think before you get a building permit, you're gonna have to have all the legalities done and that may take another meeting approval. So if you're up against a timeline, make sure you get it to us before that third Monday of the month so that we can approve it, but.
But there was no controversy with unanimous.
No. I would say we just need a motion to approve that and, knowing that when you get the official documents, we'll have, I'm sure that we have to approve those too in a meeting, so.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the lot split for parcel number 8900345559. It's recommended by the planning commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of lot split for parcel 8900345559 as recommended. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Item A, discussion and possible approval of quote to replace the aquarium windows.
Are we still on hold to see how the other window goes?
I do believe, yeah, and I think that's what Jeremy wanted last meeting, when we went to see the other.
Yeah, I just wanted to see that one installed.
It was just on.
And we haven't, that's not done
That
yet.
one, no, I mean,
That's the 3-month wait or,
Oh, I don't remember what they said, 8 to 9 weeks, and that was a month ago, so.
I talked to him a week ago downtown here and it was gonna be late August before those windows were in.
okay.
So sometime late August, early
Hopefully
spring.
next meeting, or meeting after September.
been approved the next one, yeah.
All right. So we'll table that until we have some windows to look at.
Mhm.
Okay. Item B, discussion and possible approval of baseball complex interlocal agreement. Do we have anything new?
Well, last we talked, was if we are going to, move ourselves from that agreement, then we will have to give written notice of 60 days, at least 60 days. I had talked with Chase up there, letting him know that, we may be exploring that. And he didn't have, anything that concerned him, so.
He's from the third one?
School report,
Oh,
Preston. So,
It's completely out of the equation then. They would have their own agreement between the two of them.
right,
And that would be Legion Ball and the high school.
right, since we don't have any local baseball currently. And if we do, then we'll have to look at that. If we ever acquire a town team again.
Might
You
be
know.
cheaper for us to just lease it.
And to rent it from them or lease it or, yeah. But then without owning any property, that would get us, you know, out of something that we don't really have a hand in.
So maybe we need to have a sit down with their board and say, okay, here's what we're thinking, you know. Who pays the electric bills and how we would do that moving forwards before we give them notice.
Before we, that's fine, we want to do that. Or we got 60, we just have to give 60 days if we want it to end by by the end of this term. So we'll just have to keep that by the October meeting.
I don't know that there's a rush on it, but whenever you guys have time to sit down, if we got budget meetings coming up, I'm not gonna push that this has to be done in a hurry, but obviously we're well over our contract dates anyway, so.
Well, and it renews every year.
Yeah.
So if we don't, we would just have to give the 60-day notice.
I wonder if we should go to the next board meeting, school board meeting, and just address it there. Probably the right way to handle it.
Maybe we're trying to have some numbers for you to go with as far as what the utilities are costing and.
Okay.
All right. Item C, discussion about fence regulations and possible first reading of ordinance 681, amendment to ordinance 391. My concern with looking at this ordinance is item F, do you think that defines the height that the pool fence should have? That was one of the big reasons.
I don't know. I was just looking at what was item B up and it's quoted in the title. I don't know, item F would probably just be a whole separate.
Because then we have people getting the decorative 3-foot fence from Menard saying, is this enough?
Right, and I don't know, that's a whole separate conversation. I guess I was looking more at like what the planning commission had been talking about was the permits and permission from the board and needing a building inspector and all that. So this ordinance originally was passed in 1986 and I don't know that we've ever done. Maybe we did in 1986,
I don't remember fences ever having a permit.
But this just would amend to rescind that part of the ordinance. Since we don't do fence permits or have a building inspector to look at them.
Didn't we adopt something a couple of years back regarding swimming pools and just meeting the IBC code and just so we're gonna match that? I thought we did that, so we didn't have.
I looked at it. I don't know if we.
Talking about that, yeah, I don't know if we adopted it, but I remember Nikki bringing it up.
I'd hate to change it and then still have an issue with the pool fencing.
Well, right, and I mean, so, I don't know, I guess that's a discussion. If there's more to amend.
So would this be something for our lawyer or for Lauren Mappa to look at, do you think, that could help us out?
I guess. Probably Lauren or the attorney, I'm not sure. Have to find out. I guess, are there thoughts on?
I think we should have a firm rule on pools. I mean, I think if we let this sit and somebody's child gets into a pool that's not fenced, I don't want to have that guilt or liability over something like that. So I would like to see the pool fencing area. I would like to see that defined. I don't know, what do you guys think?
We talked about it in pretty great length back when Sunbird was on board yet.
Yeah.
And nothing really got established at that time. As far as this pool situation. I don't like what the county, if it's an in-ground pool, of course, you better have a fence that was above ground pools.
Then you just have to have a gate on the steps, I believe.
Or be able to take the steps away.
Be able to take the steps out is what I was told.
Yes, yeah,
When
I think I remember that wording from the national.
because I think it has to be like, if the pool, like 48 inches, is it 4 feet, and then the steps can just be removed. Or have a lock or some sort of gate, so you can't just easily get into it.
Well, let's see if we
And I
can,
would be okay looking to see what the IPC code says and then looking at adopting that and putting that in this one. So that it covers it.
I don't think we should change the ordinance unless we're gonna fix that part too. Let's look into that, see what we need to add there. Go ahead.
Just on behalf of the planning commission, if it's possible to perhaps at least the chair, if not the whole planning commission, just glance at that when you get it kind of done.
Yeah.
Since it was kind of hard to bring it up, we want to make sure that we understand the intent of the board.
Yeah.
So that we can make good, solid recommendations.
Any suggestions you have other than the fencing?
No, you covered it. Just that there's been some push and pull, particularly around fence lines and not getting permits and finding out 10 years later that, oh, there it is. We put a fence line.
Yeah,
I think everybody in the city wants this.
yeah, I don't know how we put up that, you know, maybe the liability needs to be on the fence owner if they didn't get it surveyed, you're gonna have to move it, you know. I would think that, in my opinion, if I was gonna put up a fence, I would want to get a survey to make sure I'm in the right spot. Having people in Arlington to be a board or make approval for whether it's plumbing repairs or fence, you know, that's always an issue. You know, we've talked about this before and for other items too, and having certifications. And it seems to be difficult for us to justify some of the expense for having, you know, an inspector for that or.
Yeah, and I would go a little bit farther. I think once the fence is up, both landowners kind of assume that's where the lot line is, and that may or may not be true.
Yeah.
If it wasn't verified at some point.
Maybe there needs to be some wording in here about, the lot lines are the responsibility of the owner to find out before putting up a fence. Maybe that's something too. Then that relieves us from the liability of giving a permit and. All right. Item D, discussion about fireproofing library drop box. I went down there and looked. What troubles me is the words fireproofing. I would be happy to give an estimate for a metal box, but I don't think my side business wants to take the liability of fireproofing the library, so. But I would be happy to make a metal box that the books would fall in. So maybe we need to do some more looking at that. Obviously, the price we got for an external one just seems crazy. But. And I haven't been down there to measure, but like I said, I don't see why we couldn't make a metal box for $100 or less. If you guys are okay with that and we drop all the words fireproofing, I would be more than happy to.
And I mean, fireproofing is gonna be really hard.
Yeah,
If someone throws a cigarette in it, but we do want, and I think when we say fire. Yeah, proofing may not be the right thing because you can't guarantee that,
Yeah.
but like, we want to try to contain something if something happens to go in there, right?
yeah.
Or at least slow it down enough to get a response, you know?
Really, could you change the word to that fire containment system?
I don't know how we change it to make me comfortable, but if there's any insinuation that what I build is gonna stop a fire, I'm not comfortable doing that, so.
And I think, yeah, I think we could easily change that to a metal box that
Metal
can
containment box.
containment box.
That's.
As long as
I'm
it's
much happier
contained,
with that.
right? Like, we're just thinking contained in the sense of you have to get in that box in order to get that.
Probably best for everybody to cover yourself in your quote to just state that this is no way
Metal containment
fireproof,
box.
fire resistant or anything, just so that.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah, whoever quotes it.
Yeah.
Put that as their quote.
All right. We can move forward with that. I'll have a plan and a quote on something that's a containment box for the next meeting. Item E, discussion about sidewalk at 205 North Second Street. We got curbs up, so we've got a 30-day window for them. I think everything's pretty clear there. Is there any other thing we needed, any actions we need to take?
No, what day was those curbs done? Like, when does that 30 days start? What? Thursday?
Should we notify him in some way as a reminder of that 30 days?
Talked to him Friday.
Perfect.
So Friday, you talked to him Friday,
Yeah,
So that was
30 days.
the 11th is when those were completed. So we'll give them the day after, which is the 12th.
Next board meeting, we can.
Okay.
Too.
Curbs were completed on July 11th. We'll note that.
You'll have to pass the bid at the next board meeting. So his next board meeting.
Okay. Streets, we don't have a committee report this month. I did sit in on a construction meeting for the street project. There's a lot of concern with timing with school opening up soon. They're planning on making an alternate route into the parking lot from 9th Street, the one-way street. So that when Dodge is torn up, that they can still get in the parking lot, and hopefully they'll either do. They're undecided right now if they're gonna try and do Dodge Street between the football field and the parking lot with a one wide paver or do both halves. I think there was some logistics with getting a paver in there, is what I was understanding. So they're up in the air on that. They're a little behind from the project in Blair that they've been working on, and I think they're gonna get 9th and 11th done before school starts, and hopefully we can work around this until they can get her done. Everybody keep your fingers crossed for good weather. So. Item C, discussion and possible approval of quote for tires for the Dodge pickup.
I see that Eagle Auto did not put disposal on theirs, but it's still substantially lower. This time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that hazardous materials fee covers for tire disposal.
Well, regardless, we can take them with us too. Wait, I'm sure they'll have a tire dump sometime. We have a few up there already. Bring them to the fairgrounds when they have.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve tires for the Dodge truck through Eagle Auto Repair for the amount of $843.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second for approval of the tire quote from Eagle Auto Repair for the Dodge pickup tires. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McCorney,
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item D, discussion and possible approval of quote from Bauer Built for tires for the tractor.
These are the two front assist tires. They're well, shot, bowl.
Do we have just one bid? Just one bid?
I can check price on tires at work and these are a good price.
I'm just-
What we've,
Just checking if we only had one quote here.
we just don't do mobile service calls on farm equipment and our tractors.
It's hard to find that Bower Belts, I know there's maybe one other one around.
Gotcha.
The mobile service is the key.
But that's, the price on the tires is right in there, in the range of what you'd see, and I think the service call fees are very reasonable. It's getting hard to find anybody
It is.
to come do that.
I'll motion to approve the bid from Bauer Built for the tractor tires in the amount of $865.35.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the quote from Bauer Bill for the tires for the village tractor. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Discussion about corporate center line split between Washington County and Village of Arlington on Bell Street.
So I just wanted to bring this to your attention, so we can figure out which way we want to go with this. So I think last year, like a year ago, we got a letter from the county saying that, they don't have joint ownership of Bell Street. So this year, when we submitted the Lane Mile report, we had us having full ownership of, Bell Street, so we would get all of that credit for our highway allocation. Well, I got an email back from the state, Department of Transportation saying, hey, like, there is joint ownership. You guys only have half of this. Like, can't submit it as is, so, you know, you'll either have to pass a resolution to annex all of that and take it or whatever. And in his email, he included the map at the back of this packet, from 1970, saying that there's been a corporate center line split since then, and it has not changed. They have nothing else on file. So I took it back to Steve Parr and was like, hey, like, what should we do? He has encouraged us to pass a resolution to take over all of it to get the highway allocation credits. However, then I talked to the guy from the state again, and the first part of your little packet is about this state statute that basically, like, the county and us, we have joint ownership, and that's just kind of irrefutable. Because we did not, I mean, that Bell Street is part of the original plat for Arlington, so it's well before 1977, the part I highlighted, so it is joint ownership. So, you know, if we wanted to do Bell Street at some point, I mean, we are half owners with somebody else. I don't know. So I think there's discussion to be had of, do you want to take all of it and come up with a resolution for next month, or talk to whoever? And I have talked to the county about this as well, and they just weren't sure either, so. It's just kind of an interesting situation.
So that seems funny because they tell us they don't ever want to help us with any repairs.
I don't know.
Well, if Steve's suggestion was to make what am I looking for? The resolution for,
I don't have a resolution prepared.
let's run it by our lawyer and have him look at this statute and see
Right.
what he thinks we should do.
I mean, yeah, and Steve said like it would be some highway credit, like, it's not a ton, right? And so maybe there's more benefit in sharing, I don't know.
When you say not a ton, what was?
He just said like it'd be minimal, like as far
Our
as.
normal highway allotment, our highway allotment is what, $60,000 or $70,000 a year, rent generally.
I don't.
It wasn't enough to make the loan payment for that first Ellsworth Street project,
Right.
but it was it was part of
That
it.
sounds like a big number. I was just curious how much,
So I would suppose if you break it down, we might be talking about a few $1,000s.
I'm wondering how many years of highway allocation would it take to pay for the other half of Bell Street if we have to fix it?
Yeah,
Because at this point, they'd be responsible for half of it.
I don't, yeah.
Steve has looked at this already, our attorney.
So I just got this like state statute late Friday, so I haven't had a chance to run this by our attorney, or Steve Park, but.
Yeah. Well, let's run both of these by them and then see if we
I
can
just
have an
wanted
idea.
You guys,
Yeah.
what direction we were feeling, I guess. If you want me to come back with a resolution
And do you have any correspondence that we've got recently from the county that said that they don't share?
it's from that letter from last year when Steve Parr asked.
We'll look at it.
Make sure that we have that
I have it.
with, and send them both this and that letter
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
and-
sent them this map and I haven't heard back.
make sure that doesn't change Steve's recommendation and then let's talk to our attorney and see what he thinks.
When I talked to county, they said they don't have any part of Bell Street whatsoever. But that was on a separate issue. That was.
It seems like I've gotten a different answer every time over the last 10 or 12 years we talked to
The
them.
state tells Washington County they do have part of it. Trump their.
Well, and that was my question to Matt with DOT, like, I mean, if you're telling me that they own half of this, like. Has to be a question of ownership, I don't know. It is saying one thing. I don't know.
I mean, it says right in there, the municipality shall get credit for the whole road. I don't know. Let's get it.
After September
Yeah,
77, which this was before.
This was well before 77.
Then there was a case that they referred to that somebody challenged it and it said clearly it
Maybe
means
that's where
after
the
that date.
confusion comes from, because we annexed that corner after 77, didn't we? Are you
Well,
sure?
I mean, if you look at this map from 70, like. It's got Elkhorn Drive and Poplar and Hickory on there, so you can see like that split. Or where we own that chunk, you know what I'm saying?
Little cul-de-sacs up on Gotch.
Yes, that's percent.
The walk run route has nothing to do with the annexation. I'm looking at the wrong.
Wrong map.
John, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that, I think originally they were trying to say that, that the property on Bell Street to the east was annexed when the ballparks were put in. Well, that's been property of Arlington since the turkey farms were down there. I mean, that's never been annexed. That's always.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's the,
No.
so when they told us about that, well, when you guys built that,
Thing, that was when.
they
that
get,
ballpark-
I've got the impression that that's when we annexed it.
No, that, if you look at old maps, it's always.
Yeah, that's-
City limits of Arlington.
So that's where the question of dual ownership comes in. If it was always before 77, then they could have dual ownership
It's
with it.
1970 and it's on here, so. I don't know, anyway, but
All right, well, let's definitely have our lawyer look at this and get some advice before we move forwards. And see if our correspondence letters with the county change anything with Steve Parr.
Two things quickly, having been around here since the 1800s, I can promise you it was always referred to as joint ownership. During previous planning commission days and just general conversation, it was always assumed that that was joint ownership and that's several times.
Seems like that doesn't always get to their county maintenance department when we ask.
It would seem to make pretty logical sense. The city owns it, particularly if the city begins to look forward. Well, why would you continue to have this arm wrestling?
Yeah,
One guy's opinion. Two, I possibly misunderstood that item on the agenda. Does this speak to the conversation we had last week about speed on Bell Street at all, or should I table it until?
we're gonna have to table that until we can have a committee meeting on that. Jason hasn't been here.
Have some visual whenever anything.
All right. Okay, so we'll table discussion about the corporate center line split, so we have more information. Item F, water sewer. James, what do you have for us other than?
Busy.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Buck and Mike Stanzel were in town from rural water when we bypassed last week. They helped with the blow offs on the hydrants. And I talked to Buck about pushing his push camera down, what is it, Ellsworth, where we have that problem.
Mhm.
And he said that he thinks we'll be able to. Sometimes the problem is with the storm sewer, his camera wants to come back, so it doesn't always work. He says he should be able to do that. He doesn't know when he's gonna have time to do it.
Yeah.
But
Is that something we could get video footage of or digital footage, do you think?
yeah, I believe his camera has a place where you can put a little memory stick in.
So let us know if we need to get a memory card or something, because that might be helpful if we do I'm trying to get an estimate on doing a water drainage study.
Okay.
For those problem areas that we've had.
I've got JEO coming in Wednesday to look at all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna,
Get a hold of JEO.
okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to get some numbers
Oh,
just for budget purposes.
that's right. That's why I thought you told me to do that. so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, well, that's probably why Steve didn't return my text call today, so.
Yes, I have already talked with, he's coming out Wednesday, this guy from Lincoln, from JEO.
Well, I guess I'll see what happens there and
Yeah.
tell me Buck to come out.
And I think that's more of a informative survey that they'll do to see the drainage of houses, streets, what have you.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 areas in.
But if we get any information out of that boring that helps them decide what size pipes there are, or the cammering, that might be useful. Tell them there's a possibility we could have some information to go with it.
I think pulling a couple of manholes up, would probably do that.
Tell them everything they need with the tape measure. Okay.
Okay, and I'm still working on raising a manhole down by the storage lot. I've just been busy. I haven't got to that yet.
Yeah.
And then we are aware that there's a leak down by Charlie Reed's. We're gonna get to that Wednesday. John and I are gonna dig it up. I'm not sure who else is coming from People Service, but we'll have another guy here.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. We had a huge bill this month. I know you and Kate had talked about it. Any ideas where you think we should be looking for water infiltration?
On the other side of the railroad tracks, we talked about, last month, well, that, and then the one that I need to raise, that water, all that water that was sitting because of the railroad, so it wasn't draining. All of that water just pretty much went into the sewers.
Yeah.
We pumped all that to Fremont. For
Yeah.
the most part. And then it was flooded on the other side of the railroad tracks where some of those manholes are too, so I'm sure there was a lot of infiltration. Because that whole time that was flooded, we had a high level.
Yeah. We need to work on finding all those manholes. You probably don't even know where half of them are for sure, do you?
John brought me a map a couple months ago. I don't know who it was from, but he wrote down the distance of how far 2 of them are from the other one. As far as which direction exactly, I don't know.
But we don't have any customers south of the tracks, do we? I wonder if we could cap those off and Jesus, that was probably a $10,000 increase over what we,
That's triple what we usually.
over our highest bill though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's, I mean, 10,
Yeah.
yeah, about 10,000 more than last month.
I don't think I'd ever seen anything above the teens as far as that, and we had a $25,000 bill for that this month.
And you can kind of see that in the charts. But again, since I had the bypass, that when we have to open the 8-inch bypass, it doesn't all go through the meter. So our meter numbers are gonna be different than theirs, but Kate says they don't even send us a number anymore, which I think we need to figure that out. They can't just charge you whatever they want to charge you without telling you why they're charging you that. I would think there should have to be some kind of meter reading of what they're charging you. I could probably call over there. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know why that has changed, because we did always get numbers, so. Let's see if you can find that out for us. I'd appreciate that.
Because these numbers are based on our lift station down here.
No, they're Oh, yeah, what are the numbers in your report? That's our numbers.
Those are our.
Yeah,
So in case there's maybe something between there and there that they're sucking in through the pipe.
well, it's a pressure pipe. so
Oh, it is
it'd be-
pressure.
It would be hard.
Okay.
Yeah,
It'd be hard to have an infiltration, I would think.
yeah, on that line. If there was a problem with it, it wouldn't work right.
Okay, gotcha.
We have, I think, 6 air relief valves along there that I usually drive that once a month.
Mhm.
And just check those valves, make sure there's nothing coming out of them. We haven't had a problem with them yet.
Okay.
All right, we don't have anything as a committee.
No,
All right, thanks for your time, James.
Travis, I did talk to Mike. He still hasn't got back to me on the diamond maps,
oh, the access for it,
the access, so you guys can,
make updates.
I'm still working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, item G, police report. Does anybody have anything? Thanks for your time. Good. Anybody have anything? Do we have anybody on the Zoom from the sheriff?
Well, we're due for a quarterly meeting coming up with them. They would do that before the fair too sometimes, but
Yeah.
so you got the parade route all figured out, we're in the paper, so that's good, yeah, we'll probably visit, more of the concern Mr. Dwyer has there, that's speeding. I was at a party 4th of July and I swear to God, someone went 80 miles an hour down there. I don't know if it was hard to tell if it's a policeman or not, which I seen that before too. They're in pursuit of someone, they'll fly up, I don't think sure they gotta get to where they need to be, but geez, all the number of kids there, that was, and there's probably 100 people there, and no one could see what kind of vehicle it was, it went that fast, so. We do need to, yeah. One way or another, we gotta do something there.
Quickly, on the way this afternoon back from Kearney, I had a good conversation with Tom Klein, superintendent of schools, and she's reiterates everything we talked about. There's concern, particularly as the school growth, village growth, it's only going to get more severe.
Yeah. Yeah, we were told this morning that their freshman class is double the size of their graduating class from last year, so.
Really? Wow.
They're really concerned about all those 14-year-olds, hoping they're not driving when we're low on parking spots for this street project. So. All right. Item H, parks.
ATVs, do you want to report that?
Oh, like how many we have?
No, the person that stopped in,
Oh, I guess just back to police a little bit, someone stopped in today and just concerned about minors driving ATVs, golf carts, whatever. She even talked about like the motorized scooters, those kids that are just on those things flying around. Yeah, I don't know. I think they brought it up to the sheriff before, so we'll just have to reiterate, I guess.
That issue came up at the planning commission meeting as well.
Is that something we can send an email to Sheriff Robinson and tell him we've had concerns? That's not the first person that I've talked to that,
No, I'm
Just
just
had that.
residents are not either.
so. It does seem like it's something that seems to get lax on and.
Just for my edification, does the village have an ordinance with respect to the scooters?
Oh, the scooters, I don't know that we do. That's probably newer technology than our last ordinance on that stuff. So. Geez, I'll bet it was 8 or 9 years ago when we changed the ordinance for.
Really, in the meeting said those will go 40 miles an hour.
That doesn't surprise
Can
me.
it possibly be true?
I've seen him.
There's always,
Like the teenager and like a 5-year-old or something going down some street that.
well, no matter what they're designed for, there's always somebody that can figure out how to put more voltage to the motor and double the speed and, it's gonna happen.
Coming on the cross street and they're flying down that hill. I can count on two hands how many times you gotta hit the brakes, cause there's no stopping them.
Ironically, we have a ordinance that says no motor vehicle, including motorcycles or scooters, may drive on sidewalks. So those motorized things now, you're telling them to go in the street on
Yeah,
top of the
that's a
traffic.
real
It's-
conundrum. I've had people before that have asked me, where am I supposed to drive this? They can't get it licensed, but they can't drive it on the sidewalk.
Right.
Apparently you can't drive it in Arlington. So. All right, item H, Parks Committee Report. You guys have anything for us?
John, all the gutter stuff got on, right? Yep. So I heard back already from people that seemed to help already, so,
Good.
yeah.
The pool gutters?
Got the pool, yeah.
Awesome.
Do you think it's gonna stay very well? And
I told her just to keep an eye on it. If we need to, I gave her the zip ties. I said you can zip tie it down if you want.
so it is secured and it should stay
She
for,
said it stayed all weekend, so.
yeah.
I mean, if it floats over a little bit, you look at it, I guess.
Yeah. At least we got something there.
Mhm.
All right, library report. Did anybody have anything on that?
Kate came up with a really great way to handle, so many of their expenses, whether they be their private money or budgeted money, go against their credit card. And it was always a constant problem for the library of maxing out the credit card because there are low limits on it. And so we worked out with our CPA that Kate can pay it off at any time from their private money directly. And then they can submit receipts back to us to be approved on our consent agenda for budget items that would be on the city's money. That way they can spend whatever they want on their private money. And we can keep it paid off to allow them to keep up with spending. So great job.
All right. Item I, Cemetery Committee Report. Anything?
Probably nothing quite to report this time unless John has any crazy. news
Trying to
out
kill the
there.
weeds in the roads. It's a good year for weeds.
Yeah, it's time season, right?
No. Item J, Administrative. I didn't see anything, just one in Arlington for mechanical. Anybody have any questions about that permit report? If not, we'll move on to Kate's report.
Been getting quotes for cameras at the auditorium. Watchdog came today and then I've got somebody coming out tomorrow and then somebody else is supposed to quote me. But I just happened to talk to a guy from LARM on Friday and that like Lean on LARM grant that they have. He asked if we'd applied or whatever, and I was like, no, like I don't, and he said, well, security cameras is actually something you could apply it to, and I said, oh, well, so anyway, that's $500. I'll apply.
Yeah.
Shave some money
Anything
off.
else? Yeah.
Finish the agreement with Mardell Enterprises and Blair Title. Been working on the comprehensive plan and just, I don't know, stuff with the street project. Called on the street and then other just regularly scheduled business. I don't know. Well, yeah, who wants to be on our safety committee? We need a safety committee, as it would turn out. We meet quarterly.
Get Peter on it.
We meet quarterly. There has to be minutes that we keep for 3 years.
What's the focus of the safety committee?
Safety for the employees.
Employees, so specifically employees, not like just general community.
No,
Okay. Specifically for,
if you have more than 10 employees at any given point in the year, you have to have a safety committee as per state statute.
I'm the chairman of our safety committee already at work too.
So you know all the ins and outs.
We need somebody,
Come on. Come on board.
Was that,
you be the employee representative, you be the other one.
Thank you for volunteering.
or was that I'm already involved enough?
Know about it.
It's pretty much just checking the box that we're doing it, having minutes on records, pretty much.
It's,
If you could fit it in and you want to do it, that's great. If not, it would be easy for me to try and schedule
Quarterly.
something on Mondays.
Two of us or one of us?
two, we need one city person and an employee representative. I said, well, who's the employee rep supposed to be? And he said, well, basically a voluntold. I said, oh. Okay.
So two people have to show up to these meetings.
I guess, I don't know. He sent me a bunch of stuff, but he said it has to be two people.
Or
And we need to discuss all the safety hazards that happen in the office. I don't know. No paper cuts. I don't get my clothing stuck in the paper shredder, whatever.
Do we meet the 10 employee criteria?
We do because of the swimming pool, even if they're part-time and seasonal. Yeah. Otherwise, no.
And all of the employees don't need to be at these meetings? Just a rep?
not a committee meeting.
So
Okay.
aren't you just supposed to discuss like if something happens or?
Yeah, if there's any accidents,
preventative
report them, yeah, just kind of. I mean, at work, we go through a checkbox, walk through the shop, see if you see anything.
Oh, we need an injury prevention program too.
Cindy, are you waiting for us to vote on anything? I mean, you're okay. Okay.
We're just.
I didn't want to make you guys wait if you're.
We were talking on the way here, how she had never been at one of these, so
Okay.
we're just. kind of-
Well, if it's the end of school, you need to get it signed off. I don't know if it's time, if you can still get credit for this.
Right. Government.
But yes, government class always brings us a few at the end of the year.
Just something to think about. You don't have to say yes.
Well, it doesn't,
If,
it's not that.
if you
time.
don't want to do it, I wouldn't mind being a part of it if I'm in here on Mondays, whatever, but
That's,
if you've got
I'd say maybe
experience-
trip over, I guess.
yeah, I hate to make you take time off of work, but if you don't want to do it, I will.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a matter of minutes if you're here anyway, just.
we can meet quarterly at 6 o'clock before the board meetings and show up at that time anyway.
You guys let me know who's doing it. It was. All right. Anything else on your report that we need to go over?
I don't know. So,
So we only have 45 responses still for the lead.
yeah,
Forgot I was.
I have to, I guess, send out a paper letter and stuff, 500 envelopes. I don't know what else to do. Very disappointing.
And do we have to have responses?
I feel like you're looking right at me when you're saying you're very disappointed about these surveys, not me.
You haven't filled yours out?
Not yet.
Oh, well, you're gonna get a paper letter.
I'll make sure and save you a stamp.
Yeah, it's a lot of postage too. Stamps went up in price too. Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we could try a Facebook blast. Have we been in the newspaper already with this? Maybe we could get it in the newspaper.
And I'm just curious if, so like rural water was charging $10 or $15
For an inspection?
to have to come out and check if you don't return it.
Hmm.
Cooper was also,
Oh, really? I don't know, wow.
Well,
never saw anything from Fremont from that perspective though. But maybe they have.
I didn't know, are we supposed to go door to door to check it?
That's what I was at. That's what I'm curious about. If we have to have,
Cause I mean, well, doesn't, I don't know.
or if we only have 45
They
responses.
said you can report unknown, like whatever, but I guess down the road. The EPA could be like, okay, great, well, you said unknown for 300 houses. Go
let's
figure
try
it
and
out.
make a push to get these surveys filled out. See what we can do. If we can get over 50%, I don't know what's enough for them. But
Yeah,
So the surveys are required by the EPA.
Yes.
They want to know if people have lead pipes in their water supply. So we've sent out,
On the postcard, didn't I?
Yep, you sure did.
that was on the postcard.
Last fall it started.
Maybe we need an urgent call in the paper and on Facebook telling people that it's going to cost us to inspect them if they don't return the surveys.
I was probably 6, 7 months ago, I remember driving home and Doug Flutie was talking on the radio on North Bend, they damn near succeeded 100%, so it's so important to get her done.
Well,
Wow.
Oh,
I was impressed, they got her pretty much whipped.
great.
Get something on Facebook and we can start sharing it. That seems to be a good avenue.
Okay.
And we'll get something in the paper and,
Paul, maybe you and I can write up an article and give it to Teresa to get in there and spell out kind of what the requirements are. for
Yeah.
water, sewer.
yeah,
That would be-
sounds good. All right. Item C, discussion and review of 2024 comprehensive plan update.
So I think. This plan. Specifically, I guess, look at pages like 28 through 30, and then. Another section of like goals. Those were like some big changes in there. And I thought most of it was pretty well edited, but then Travis and I were looking it over and realized that there were some incorrect numbers, so. Rough draft, and but the two sections I just said those are solid and I think should be.
So added this, as you're all aware, that we started this project with a committee, holy cow, what was
2
it?
years ago.
Almost 2 years ago. And of course, as the committee met, we worked different approaches on how we were going to do it. We got a little strategic, came up with some cool ideas. Then we realized we had to backtrack a little bit and focus in on doing what we were asked to do, which is put together a comprehensive plan. And of course, we went back to pulling demographics and using the community survey that we did. And Kate kind of put it together here. And as we realized the sections that we spent the most time on, which is a community survey, and then the goals, which we went through just a couple weeks ago, then we realized that some of the demographic information is incorrect. So we need to revamp that. So for the sake of this point, pages 28, 29, and 30 are the survey pieces to which we got information as of recently. And then 2 weeks ago, Kate, Jeremy, and I met and took our best swing at setting some high-level goals. And why we took that approach is as we were reviewing the old comprehensive goals, action plans, objectives, we found a lot of action items that were never started. Really, I've never seen a committee around a community daycare and numerous other goals. And there were so many that just said, why should we sit here and write a bunch of new goals that really won't be driven? Somebody needs to own this. So instead we backed up and said, let's take a high level approach to goals. Instead of having 3 pages of them, let's make 11 high level overarching, and then let committees who want to be more strategic in very specific areas go after specific things that would be covered by those goals. So I would ask everybody to look at the goals, look at the feedback from the community, and hopefully before the next meeting, we have to have a separate meeting for it.
So we just have to have a public hearing, so it'll be just before our board meeting, but it's again, like has to be like a 10-day notice type thing, so it's gotta be planned. So hopefully there'll be a lovely public hearing before our August meeting, we can review it, go over it, and then in the meeting, adopt it
And it gives,
by resolution.
and gives us a month to make some tweaks and changes if some of those goals were too general with like specific words in there. I think that's a good time to do that too.
Mhm.
Nick, you're part of the committee. Any comments?
Not generous ones at the moment. Like, granted, I want to take 50% accountability because that's on me for not following up sooner. But I was a little bit surprised. I did a fair amount of the legwork for the survey and pulling it together. And then not to hear back for a year, and then to hear like, hey, we pulled it together, we wrapped it up, we're gonna present it. I was a little bit surprised to hear that. you know, put a lot of work into that, and so it'd have been nice to be updated. Just disappointed in that part.
Deservingly so.
So, you know, before we approve that, I think going back to that committee, I don't want to slow it down, but at least, you know, can we send it back out to them and say, hey, you guys started this. Do you have any input before it goes to the village for approval? I think would be a nice gesture.
You know, that makes sense because now we have a month cushion. It'll be that we have time to schedule a meeting and pull everybody back in that was there.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just to wrap up that committee too, I think would be
Yeah.
put a nice bow on it.
Yeah.
That works for me. Mike.
And as chairman of the planning commission, I would echo what Nick said. We got a lot of energy behind that. That was specifically the reason that I rejoined the planning commission, the opportunity to work on that and the bigger visioning work. And then it sort of ran out of air, and now it's close to being approved. I would make a point then for one thing. One, I would respectfully disagree with my good friend Travis that 10 or 11 or 12 goals are going to wind up in the same spot that those goals did before, that it's difficult, it's going to be impossible for a small community to come up with 10 or 11 goals, 10 or 11 committees to try to get things done. I would encourage 2 or 3 goals, maybe in my world, only one. What are we going to look like when we grow up? If we can't answer that big picture, longer term question, it's going to be difficult to answer any of the other ones below that. I would respectfully ask that in addition to the committee or the committee, because there's some counterparts on both, that the planning commission have an opportunity to really look through that and weigh in over a little bit of time. We just met last week, but happy to call a special meeting to review that. This is important stuff. In my opinion, both as a former business owner, as a resident, and also the chair of the planning commission, this is important stuff. If we can't set that picture of where we want to go, my premise has always been there's 2 ways that this will happen. There's no question that Arlington's going to continue to grow. We can either design that growth and by statute and by zoning and really craft how we want Arlington to look, or we can get our lunch handed to us by a company or an entity or a state entity that says, this is what we're going to do. And you don't have either the statutes or the planning or the zoning to prevent that. So hang on. I've used 2 examples. One, Lexington, Nebraska is an example of that they just got their lunch handed to them. That is nothing like what they envisioned 15 years ago before they got beef biking plan. And I can't say this for absolute certain, but it was my understanding that the prison that was built in Tecumseh, Arlington was 3rd on that list to get that prison. That would be an example of really getting our lunch in. Again, my overreaching point is that we got to decide what one looks like when we grow up. And then Travis's point, then I think the goals will fall pretty easy.
And Mike, I agree with you. I think, have you had a chance to see the goals yet? Were they sent out?
They were.
Okay. I think once you see them, you'll be pleasantly surprised that they are very high level, meant to carry into strategic plans, drive into specific areas where if it says community development and economic development, we believe that that's important for our community is where we came up with these goals, which if we decided a committee were to dive into downtown development, it fits into that goal. So it was very intentionally left very broad. Instead of looking at the very specific goals that were in there last time and trying to come up with committees and groups for months and months and months to have a list. And then the second we say, okay, let's do it, everybody disappears again. And we have a list of goals from 2011, and most of them have never been started. That's why we went that approach is let's take it out of the hands of the comprehensive plan and give folks who want to be a part of it a chance to get on a committee and make something really happen without us saying, well, it's not number 42 on a list.
And I will look forward to that it does exactly what you said. The only thing I would say in rebuttal is that this is the 5th downtown development, economic development committee that I've served on in my 42 years in town. And each one of them has done exactly what you described. This is going to be really, really good. Whatever happened?
And that's the funny part of, when,
Yeah, and to that though, I think that's what we need to remember too, is that we're looking at this from a goal perspective, from a comprehensive plan for the whole village and not just the downtown. And we had a lot of great passion for some downtown stuff, and I think that would definitely be another avenue that we'll approach. And we want to give that grace through the goals that are high level so that we can go and focus, those that want to go focus on that, get to. And then those that want to go and say, hey, let's look at a landing, or let's look at, you know, a new park and fire department, that those then can be divided and energy put forth where people are passionate about it. That's what we want to see, if that makes sense.
It does, to be continued. Last thing I'll say on myself, I think that, last meeting, Paul made a great point, when he gave Perry the award and the reference, the ball complex. That didn't happen because we got a committee together or the planning commission did anything. That's just a couple of people in town that said, this is really cool. It's gonna be awesome for us and our kids in the community. Let's go do it. And it just got done. And you could, I think.
Giving passionate people the rein
Yeah.
to get things done.
Yeah.
And I do think that sometimes these high level committee meetings, it's hard for people that want to get something done to focus on what they want to do. And I'm okay with having a couple more meetings before we look at this again. We
absolutely.
can get it to the planning commission. I think that's only proper. So let's try and set up some meetings and have some discussions.
And I'll connect with Kate, and then as soon as that's ready to forward to us, I'll call an emergency. Yeah, thank you.
And to Nick's point, if we can get something scheduled with that original committee, review it one more time, have maybe a little bit of time in the middle to make any adjustments, get a copy to Mike. Mike, do you think a month would be enough time to get your group to look at it? Is that too tight? I guess we can go 3 weeks and decide.
Yeah, a balancing act. We don't want to get back into this cycle of 2 years again.
Right.
On the other hand, a month is pretty tight.
Yeah.
Especially, oh, crap, I don't know how that works. We gotta ask about that. Now we're having, I would tend to lean towards, but a really short deadline, 60 days, maybe.
Okay.
Again,
Let's get the committee to meet first. And then take it to the planning commission after that.
Yeah.
As quickly as we can.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Item D, discussion and possible approval of resolution 07152024 alarm renewal. Normally what we do is pick the longest term to get the best rate. All the termination dates are the same except for if you do a 90 day. There was some squabbles in this group a while back. I haven't seen anything lately to preclude us from wanting to honor a 3-year commitment with them and get the 5% discount. So that's normally what we do.
Any reason we would be looking to end our agreement with them?
I wouldn't think so.
Suppose get the biggest discount then if we're gonna stay with them. Let's see, do we need entirety or just?
Yeah.
Um,
And then just read the top commitment day.
First, yeah.
Yeah, the top circle.
oh, gotcha. I move to introduce resolution 07152024, whereas Arlington, Nebraska is a member of the League Association of Risk Management. Whereas section 8.10 in the interlocal agreement for the establishment and operation of the League Association of Risk Management provides that a member may voluntarily terminate its participation in LARM by written notice of termination given to LARM and the Nebraska Director of Insurance at least 90 days prior to the desired termination given and that members may agree to extend the required termination notice beyond 90 days in order to realize reduced excess coverage costs, stability of contribution rates, and efficiency in operation of LARM. And whereas the Board of Directors of LARM has adopted a plan to provide contribution credits in consideration of certain agreements by members of LARM as provided in the attached letter. Be it resolved that the governing body of Arlington, Nebraska, in consideration of the contribution credits provided under the LARM Board plan, agrees to provide written notice of termination at least 180 days prior to the desired termination date, which date shall be no sooner than September 30th, 2027, 180 days and 3-year commitment for a 5% discount. Adopted this 15th day of July, 2024.
So that,
We have a motion and a second for the approval of resolution 07152024. LARM renewal. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item E, discuss budget planning meeting date.
Yeah.
What day works best for you? Is it Mondays, Wednesdays? Well, we need to have one before our next meeting.
Yeah, I think we had like, our last one was like August 10th maybe or something like that. Jason isn't here, obviously, so if there's a couple days that work for everybody.
Let's try and pick a date that works for us, email Jason and see. So we would have to have it before our August 20th meeting is what you just said, right?
Our next meeting is
Or
August
19th.
19th, yeah.
Does everybody prefer Mondays, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, anybody?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so
Do you like those better?
I'll do
Tuesdays,
whatever.
Tuesdays are out for some of us. Thursdays will be good. You said Tuesdays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays? and
I
Thursdays?
like Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay, I could do a
But
Wednesday,
I can do Monday if that's usually our plan there. Works best for everyone. I can do that.
Monday or
I'll go with the
Wednesdays work for me, either one of
I would
those.
agree. Monday, Wednesday.
Okay, what about Wednesday the 7th?
Wednesday, the 7th. That's the week after the fair. There shouldn't be anything going on. School doesn't start till the 13th. Is that right? What I heard today?
I'm gone 7th to 11th.
Okay.
Can we go the 14th? Is that too late? Huh?
Concert.
Oh, okay.
You what?
No, I'm going to a concert.
Oh.
Right.
We spoke to the library and we gave them 3 weeks to get their budget to us. That's why I was hoping to have their budget as part of it.
Do we want to do the 12th?
Yeah,
Work for you?
yeah, I will. I'll make it.
Does later, earlier work better for you on a Monday?
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, I tried.
No, it's
If I knew if we were off golf league on Tuesday,
All right, the 12th.
Monday, the 12th. See if that works for Jason. Send him an email
What,
and
6:30, say everyone.
that works best for me.
Yeah.
Well, at 6:30.
Do you want me there or do you just want me to get you a list to the committees?
If you want to just give us a list, I don't know that we need John there. Do you guys?
List with some rough amounts. We can kind of plug that.
I think that's good, yeah. All right. We got everything we skipped over, didn't we? Item 8,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second for adjournment. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that. Motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye.